Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Fargo Retro. My name is Eric and today I thought I would share a little bit of my gaming history with y'all. So like many of you, I've been a part of the retro video game scene here for the last couple years, but my interest in video games extends far back to my childhood. I was born in late 1987. And so there's not really a time I can remember there not being video games around. My dad had a Nintendo NES and a couple of games that he would play. And yeah, honestly, I don't remember not having access to video games. Some of my favorite games growing up were Super Mario Brothers 1, the original Final Fantasy, and Double Dragon. Those were the NES games that I remember playing the most from sort of 0 to 4, 0 to 5. I do remember when the Super Nintendo came out, and that was a big watershed moment for me. Just how beautiful and how exciting and how engaging all of the new games were for it. I do remember getting the Super Nintendo, and now in retrospect, I think I must have got it late, because I remember in the one I got that we mailed away for the Super Mario All-Stars pack. You're gonna notice a really bad edit here. I forgot to mention one thing, but my mom always said that I taught myself to read playing the original Final Fantasy. She said I probably wasn't older than, I wasn't 3 years old, and I waddled up to her at one point and I said, you know, Mom, you have to help me, you have to watch me defeat the Fire Fiend and get the crystal lit up. And she said, what are you talking about, my nerdy little boy? What are you talking about? And yeah, I grabbed the manual out, I read it to her and parroted back what I was doing, and she was just blown away. And so, you know, another part, you know, just saying that I don't remember there not being video games. I don't remember not being able to read, which sounds kind of pompous, but it's true. I never had to formally learn how to read, in large part, I think, due to video games. And so I want to make sure to get that little point into, you know, on my gaming history video. So you'll probably see this awkwardly edited in somewhere. And so the Super Nintendo is probably where I developed my love of the JRPG. Final Fantasy II, Secret of Mana, Lufia 1 and 2, and Chrono Trigger, but most importantly, Final Fantasy III really became the dominant games that would sort of take over my childhood. I was a part of the console wars in that I had a friend who was very into Sega Genesis, and I got a Sega Genesis as well. You know, some of my favorite games on that console were Sword of Vermilion and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Hyperstone Heist. I played so much TMNT, the Hyperstone Heist, over the years that it's probably my favorite Sega Genesis game. Video games were a lot different back in the day. A lot of people, you know, personally I think, acknowledging there's kind of a, you know, there was a nerd vibe even then, it felt like everybody was playing video games to a degree. You would be able to talk to anyone at school about, you know, games that were going on, and, you know, there was a lot of trading. You know, it just dominated our free time back in the 90s, and, you know, that kind of history is something that, you know, I really miss about gaming. Not to wax too poetically, JRPGs became, you know, a major interest of mine for the next, you know, 10 years or so. As the PlayStation 1 came out, my dad got that, and, you know, I played a lot of Breath of Fire and Star Ocean, and you know, I'm playing on my Facebook channel, and on the YouTube channel I'm uploading my playthrough of Final Fantasy VII. I did not give Final Fantasy a 7, you know, it's due back in the day. I was a Final Fantasy VI fanboy, and it just felt like a big step back. And now that I'm playing it really for the first real time since my initial playthrough in the 90s, I'm really seeing what I missed out with Final Fantasy VII. That's a damn shame. But yeah, RPGs continued, JRPGs especially, continued to be sort of my bread and butter into my early teen years. And, you know, about the time the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox came out, I kind of drifted away from console gaming and really started to focus on computer gaming. Computer gaming has been my bread and butter for the last, you know, from probably 2002 to 2014 or so. I got a couple of, you know, PlayStation 2 games here. I did own the original Xbox. I was a big fan of the original Xbox, but by the time the Xbox 360 came out, I wasn't interested in consoles anymore. For about the same price, I could buy a gaming computer, and I did, because that helped me sort of switch from sort of JRPGs to more complex strategy games. I played a lot of Civilization 3, Civilization 4. Paradox games became a revelation to me. The Paradox games were just so deep and so historically, you know, rich and full of information. I wasn't gonna say accurate. That's kind of the trajectory I had kind of growing up. Started out on the NES and the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1. You know, I would be remiss not to talk about a Game Boy. I had a Game Boy the whole time too, and it was really fun to watch, you know, be so interested in the Game Boy from the early 90s on. And then when Pokemon came out, you know, basically 10 years after the first Game Boy came out, and just really reinvigorate that platform was a lot of fun. I think Pokemon dominated really about a year and a half of my life. Pokemon Blue did. It was just the movies, the TV show, the card game, everything in my life was Pokemon related at that time. From there, you know, we got installed in the Xbox One and the PS2 era for a while, and there were some really good action games, some really good action RPGs in there, but yeah, if I was gonna start spending, you know, $400 on a console, I might as well move on to computer, is what I thought. And that's really kind of the nucleus as to why I got into retro gaming. You know, I was playing computer games from, you know, 2002 to 2004 onwards, and as I became an adult, you know, I bought the PlayStation 3, I bought the Xbox 360. I really didn't play much on them, or anything that I did play, you know, I probably could have played on a computer. I was really into Fallout 3 on the PS3 and Oblivion on the PS3 as well. And that's, I think, really what spurred my love of retro games. Is you become 21, you stop playing your computer games, you start hanging out, going out to the bars, doing that kind of thing. And, you know, for a couple of years, you know, people would have kind of thought I didn't play video games at all, and that was really strange because video games were such a big part of my life. As I started to settle down a little bit from the crazy going out age, you know, 2013, 2014, I really decided, hey, you know, I miss these old games. I've been carrying this shoebox full of, you know, Nintendo and Super Nintendo games around for, you know, 10 years now, and it's time to really settle down and grow the collection back and see what I missed out on. And so for me, the current set of collecting that I've been doing has been going pretty strong for about 2 years now, 2.5 years. You know, I went to, you know, I heard about a Rock 30 sale, you know, buy two, get one free, and you know, I knew there were a number of games I wanted, and that felt like a sort of appropriate time to get them. So the week before the sale, I went through the store, wrote down the exact prices of certain games that I wanted, and I sort of arranged it so that I wasn't leaving anything on the table, you know what I mean? You know, the free game always had to be a cheaper game than the two you were purchasing, so I made sure to buy two $40 games and then get a $40 game free. You know, and I really think, you know, I ended up spending about $250 on that day. I don't think I left more than $5 or $6 on the sale on the table. You know, I'd really had it that laser focused on this is what I want to get, this is what's gonna come along free with it. And basically since that date, I've been buying games, you know, maybe to a degree that's a little bit too much. I have about 1,000 games in my collection at this point, which is a lot. I'm not gonna say it doesn't, you know, it's not a lot. It is a lot of games, but you know, relative to certain collectors too, you know, it's just a drop in the bucket. Right now, I'd say the console that I have the most games on is probably the original Nintendo or the PlayStation 2, with the Xbox not far behind. The original Xbox not far behind. I'd say each of those consoles I had probably about 50 to 70 games. I have a lot of handheld games as well, and in the future here I'd like to, maybe show, a little bit more in depth of my collection. I'd, like to do a game room tour and do some, highlights from the specific consoles I have. But I figured this video maybe do a little overview of my gaming history, kind of what my roots are, where they came from, and why I'm retro gaming now, and kind of what I'd like to do in the future. And I don't think I'll be going for complete collections or anything like that. There's really probably not very many of those that are viable. Maybe the Wii U complete collection would be something that we could look at. But, I really want to move forward with getting the items I really want. The things I either want to play, or I want to display, or I just want to have them around for nostalgia purposes. And, the one thing I've noticed that, even though we're talking about our history, looking into the future, I really don't see myself slowing down on the computer games. It really is a great platform. Steam has allowed me to really get a fun library, and acknowledging my, 1,000 physical copies of games I've gotten. I have 250 or so games on Steam, and a lot of those I've gotten for, under $5, waiting for sales and that kind of thing. So, I mean, if you are a gamer and you've been into retro gaming and you're kind of starting to get put off by the high price, I definitely recommend open up a Steam account, and if you just get stuff that's on sale, you can get stuff that's 75 to up to 90% off, and really develop a good collection of stuff that's a couple of years old very quickly. I imagine there should be a spring sale coming up here around spring break in March. And if you don't have a Steam account, I recommend getting one, because you should be able to get some AAA titles from 2005, 2006, maybe very early 2015, 16, and very early 2017. Yeah, so I figured just share a little bit of my gaming history with you guys, and love to hear what consoles did you start out with, what are some of your favorite memories from back in the day, and what are the kind of things that you're looking forward and carrying on with your gaming hobby. Alright, well, thanks for checking out this quick little filler video. I'm probably going to go down to about one video a week here on Fridays while I'm in school, and maybe do Tuesdays as a bonus day if I can get an extra, if I can get an extra video edited every week. So, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Like, share with your friends, comment, subscribe, all that jazz helps me out. And yeah, let me know, what was your gaming history? What are some of your favorite moments? All right, this is Eric. Wishing you have a great day. Take care. Bye.